Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sonic Talk, episode 838, recorded today on Wednesday, the 19th of March. That's right. As we head towards the weekend, we're going to be at the Synth and Pedal Expo in London. If anyone's going to be there, come and say hi. That should be fun. Before I get to introducing our guests, I'm just going to do a bit of housekeeping, as is my wont. I want to tell you what's coming up. We've got, Synth and Pedal Expo. We've got the Melodyne competition at the moment, where a prize is worth $1,400 of your US dollars, so do check that out. That's pretty good if you're interested in Melodyne. There's all the three versions, so do check. And I've got the Adam Audio D3V desktop monitors review that I put up, which was kind of cool. I enjoyed those. Nice little speakers. Excuse me. And of course, as I do every week, I encourage you to join us on our Patreon. I'll just play a message from that. It's 2025 and our Patreon keeps getting better thanks to our supporters. Thank you so much. There's ad-free versions of much of what we post on YouTube, Sonic Talk pre-show, Sonic Lab extra videos, the ever-expanding Sonicstate archives, including classics like the top 20 greatest samplers. There's Patreon Discord, a monthly hangout, the excellent members map, impulse responses from classic and unusual reverbs, and a growing collection of patches and samples in decent sampler format, including some great Moog Muse samples. In fact, the music you're listening to now by PolyVera was made using our sample sets, so why not consider supporting us and keep us doing what we do? Head over to patreon.com/Sonicstate. Yes, indeed. And if you are going ahead and fill in our survey, we're giving away a choice of three of those decent sampler instruments. Got the Moog Muse sample set, the Udo Audio Super 8, and the Kodamo Mask, which is an unusual synthesizer. If you head over to sonicst.me/survey, and that'll bring you up the form, just fill it in. And you can grab one of those freebies. It's all automated and everything. Right, so let's get on to our guests. We'll start furthest away, I guess. Well, I don't know if I'm guessing it's probably furthest away. Mr. Matt Hodson, a.k.a. Maths, in his... That looks like you're in mid-shoot. That's in your studio. I can tell it's the telltale sign of dangling cables just above head height. Yeah.
Yeah, cameras hanging somehow from the ceiling. Not sure how they're there. They're just staying there. Just been doing a little bit of shooting today. Actually, I was just having a little jam with this, which has just arrived.
What's that?
Neutral Labs, the Elmira 2. So I was having a little play with that. And it's Scrooge counterpart as well. So I'm actually going to be doing a video making music just with these two things because they're really interesting sonically, and I love the form factor of them, the size of them, and what they can do. So, been having a lot of fun with those. So keep an eye out for a video on that probably coming to a Sonicstate channel, YouTube.
Absolutely, yeah. It's brilliant. I tell you what, it's so good having slightly not having me having to do all of these. It's great. Although I'm just going to quickly flip. I've just got this coming. This just arrived, so I've got the Behringer Proton. For those of you who were watching the Sonic pre-show, I did do a little bit of noodling on it, but I'm just running it from oscillator, from a LFO as a trigger, so it's pretty basic, so nothing all that much going on there. But yeah, thanks very much for joining us, Matt. Of course, do check out Matt's stuff on his YouTube channel, and there's stuff there as well. And we've also got, there he goes, Aneek Thapar, who's joining us again. Haven't seen you for a while. Last time we actually physically met, we were in Los Angeles, darling, weren't we? Having dinner. So thanks for coming back.
Having dinner and buying lip balm.
God, yeah, that was possibly the driest atmosphere I think I've ever been in. I mean, yeah, we've I've gone very pale. I think I must have reduced my saturation a bit too much.
You need to go back. You need to go back to LA, mate. I'm going back in April.
Oh, nice. That sounds good. So, Aneek is part of Void and Vista, as well as he's got Atmos mix facility, does kind of production. Haven't you just Rival Consoles just had an album out that you mixed as well? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So we announced today that a new single's out, Catherine, which has come out today, and the LP is dropping next week, I think. I have to double check that. But yeah, Ryan's an old friend of mine. We went to uni together, and his new record is wicked as usual, and it's been such a pleasure to mix it with him. And actually, I'm doing more Dolby Atmos mixes for him today, literally as we speak.
Are we going to alt tab? You're going to alt tab into your mix?
Well, this is on my phone, so I'll do it the jank way and just flip you around.
Oh right, okay.
Nice grey screen on this beautiful spring afternoon. But yeah, excellent. Exciting stuff.
That's great. Okay, well, that other voice sounds like we've got a little friend. It's Tim Exile, of course, and Child. There we go.
This is Inga.
Hello, Inga. Hello. We'll wave to Inga. Inga. And is that Basil Brush or just a generic fox?
I think it's a generic fox. And then we've got Martha down here, just out of shot.
Boom, boom.
The classic sort of BBC Star Wars entry through that classic meme. It was always bound to happen.
Yes, it was. Well, isn't it? Well, at least you didn't shout and sort of profanities at them and force them out of the room. That would have been most embarrassing. But you have given me the first title possibility for the show, which is Generic Fox. I like that. I think I'm going to stick with that one as a possibility. Generic Fox. I don't know why. It's just, I like the idea.
Fox is famous now.
Yeah, totally famous. Yeah, well, it's lovely to have everybody. Nice to see all the folks in the chat as well. We've got a load of people there. There's Boom Boom, McAvery, Wagyu again, of course. Thanks, Wagyu. Wagyu's been doing some great work. And there's the Fox emoji on there as well. Failed Muso, nice to see you there. As you heard, James Glue, Nick House UK, Babs. There's a whole bunch of people. So nice to see you all. Thanks for joining us. It's always much appreciated. Maybe we'll see some of you at the show at the weekend. London Synth Pedal Expo will be there Saturday and Sunday. In fact, I'm going to hopefully going up on Friday night to see Heinbach, who's playing on the Friday night. And we'll have Richard Nickel from Pittsburgh Modular. He's coming down here, as is Paulie, on Friday for a bit of a get-together. And then we'll dash back up. It's going to be a really hectic week, actually. So anyway, let me get to my right screen back up. We've got actually quite a lot of stuff to talk about, and I wonder whether or not we should do the big news stuff first. The sort of the major, because I think we are, after all, a news organisation, and we're supposed to be kind of have our fingers on the pulse and everything. And I suppose maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the Serum release, because with Serum 2 out, it's a big Serum. I guess used to be the big soft synth. it was the one, but it took over from Massive, really, didn't it? But it hasn't had an update for 11 years, and now it's got a new one. I'm just going to play. I've got a video to play. It's
Pattern shift is a generative performance instrument.
That's not it. Oh, for goodness sake! Hold on a second.
I'm
Let me figure that out. I know what it is. It's not
roll
that
it.
one. It's this one. No, it's not.
Oh.
Well, what number is it then? Hold on. Man, must be number 6.
Serum 2 is finally here. After years of being the go-to synthesizer for producers worldwide, Serum 2 takes a leap into the future with groundbreaking features and expanded capabilities. In this video, we're diving deep into what's new, why it matters, and how it's going to take your production to the next level. Let's start with the heart of any synthesizer, the oscillators. Serum 2 introduces a third primary oscillator, giving you 5 independent.
Yeah, it goes through all the features. It's pretty cool. The sort of we've got a multi-sample and granular oscillator. There's one that it'll play SFZs. You can play multi-samples. It feels like, obviously, inevitably, they're going to be playing catch-up, because 11 years is a long time between synth releases, particularly in the world of software. But I imagine most of us, not me, I didn't really use those mega super synths, because I just, at the time, it was a little bit of a cognitive overload for me, that sort of level of stuff. But it feels like it's very much like a massive synthesis playground. Again, they've introduced a lot of the things that we will have seen. Interface is still looking quite last gen Massive, which I'm quite a fan of that new strip that Pigments and both the Korg Multipoly have now introduced. Makes it much easier to understand routings and kind of bring up these other modules without having to crowd the screen. I see you nodding there, Aneek. I'm guessing in the sort of music that you do, Serum probably featured in a ton of mixes that you must have done in the past and probably still do, right? It is a bit of a industry standard, right?
Do you know what? Yeah, it probably does actually. But I don't often get the names of what's been used. But when the first Serum came out, I remember it was amazing. I actually don't use it much, but I've got so much respect for Steve Duda and whatever chap helped him out with the coding. There's a Pyramind interview, like a 3-hour interview with him from years ago on YouTube somewhere. It's definitely worth a watch. It's fantastic. His sort of career has been amazing. He started off with 9 Inch Nails and then making BFD, Big Fucking Drums, that sort of pioneering drum sampler. As in like real drums kind of thing. Some of the coding stuff that was
Angus Hewlett, wasn't it? BFD, I believe, if I remember.
So am I thinking of Superior Drummer? Thinking of one of them.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, he sort of tells a story that he was in 9 Inch Nails' basement cutting up drums and doing stuff, and was like, why don't I just make this into a thing and release it to the world, And he talks about sort of the comparison between what he did with Serum and what was out there with Massive and stuff, like as you mentioned, and talking about how his doesn't alias and Serum has all these extra features that he was like, why don't synths have this? And then he starts making it with the help of this guy whose name I can't remember. And they're like, oh, this is why, because it's fucking hard and really complicated. Which I'm sure Tim can attest to as well, having built a few things himself.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I suppose the thing is you must know, it's Transfer Records. I should just quickly say it's free. I mean, first thing, the update is free to new users. And one thing I wonder is whether or not they weren't going to do that, but because it took much longer than they thought, they sort of felt they had to. And adding that stuff will sort of bring a whole new set of users who haven't maybe bought it for a while because, there's other synths out there now. 189 the intro price is, so it's cheaper than the multi-poly, or I think $10 cheaper than the multi-poly, or the multi-poly is on offer of 149. I don't know how much Pignets is, but, there's a lot of stuff out there now for it to compete with. So it's an interesting arena. This kind of, it's the flagship soft synth, isn't it? I suppose the market they're going for.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was just really impressive seeing it come out and seeing all the reactions. My timeline is like full of people. My YouTube feed is all Serum. My Blue Sky feed is all Serum, little clips of people finding new, interesting things to do with it. And it's just like, my God, it's such. It's beyond a synth; it's a platform now, really. There's people who've built like entire careers of building and selling Serum presets. So it's this whole world. The one that really caught my eye, someone put I'm into the spectral oscillator, and someone put an amen break in the spectral oscillator and then did a whole bunch of stuff that, like 10, 15, 20 years ago, I would massively nerd out on like, what could you possibly do to an amen break? And that was like, oh yeah, here's more stuff that you can do to an amen break, and you're doing it in Serum, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I meant to say it's free to existing users. It's not free as in just go and help yourself. Yeah. I'd just like to clarify that. Should definitely. I don't know, Matt, I mean, your background in music education, I guess when you were teaching, everybody was, all the kids wanted to do WUB with Serum, right? I would imagine.
They all had it. Yeah. Everyone had it installed. Everyone had that installed. Everyone had Massive installed. Everyone was using these as their main ones, for sure. And it paved the way, didn't it, for a lot of that kind of music that was going on around that time. It's one of those ultimate things. If you're going to release a piece of software like this, you would want it also to be truly instrumental to a musical movement at that time, which I guess, we had dubstep and lots of wobs, wob, going on. And it was just so easy to do that sort of stuff with this synth. Not only did it sound great, it just had, from an educational point of view, it was so easy to navigate. I must admit with you, I work a lot with Pigments. In fact, I'm just finishing off some sound libraries for them now. And I do like the visualizations where you get to see all the modulation going in that little strip along the middle. I think that's really, really cool, being able to see modulation, because you can get complicated really quick. But what they have done with the new Serum is if they've kind of kept it true to the original, the way it looks, so they haven't alienated the original users. Right, they're getting it for free as an update, and for £189, I think it is. You can buy it and you get lifetime updates in there. I mean, I still, there's a lot that I'm kind of fascinated by this because I haven't downloaded it. I haven't got it myself. But things like multi-sample oscillators, like, okay, that sort of opens a whole new box, doesn't it, of potential sound sources and starting points. So that's mad. Spectral oscillator in there. And this has also got effects. I can't remember what effects it's got within it.
Bode frequency shifter, convolution. That's including. I don't know what else it's got there.
Right.
I would point out Synthmaster's got a lot of this stuff as well, which is a smaller brand, and that's a sort of platform-based instrument as well. I suppose the thing is with this is, you could argue quite convincingly, I would say, that this heralded the new era of wavetable synths, which is now something that is we're still seeing new wavetable synths coming out, and this was probably one of the first large popularity synths that kind of introduced wavetable synthesis to a sort of entirely new group of producers, I would say. So I mean that's something that you can never take away, I guess. It's I'm sure they'll do really well because everybody loves it. I wonder now, people who are producing really hardcore drum and bass and whatnot 11 years ago when it first came out, what they're doing now, whether it's foxtrot or quick step, rather than dubstep. And there's a sort of another, what kind of music will they be using it for? I know that's
skiffle.
That's rather
Bring back skiffle.
Skiffle step. Skiffle step. Yeah, why not? That sounds like a great idea. But yeah, it's available now. Download it, and as you said, Tim, there's videos of it all over the place. So yeah, I mean it's easily findable. People are going to be posting. I think we might try and get a patch flip in because Midiera's got a copy, so he'll get a free update, so he can then flip through a few patches and see what they're like. So that'll be an interesting one. Okay, right. Well, I guess the other thing, Tim, is maybe I'll come to you after we've done this other topic and after the ad break, because obviously Tim's got his new pattern shift out, which is I mean, you've been busy. You're not wasting any time, are you? You're getting on with it.
Yeah, well, I don't have that much time to waste, so the pressure's on. But then I do love to grind. People who know me well know that I love to just build, get deep in, but. Did you say is this now or we're going to?
Yeah, it's what they say in the trade. I think is a tease. So I thought we'd do the Suono Bono PolyVera, and then then I'll do an ad break, and then we'll come and talk about the pattern shift as well. So if that's all right. So I'm assuming this is going to work. Why would it? Nothing else seems to, but I'll give it a shot. Yep, new synth, Suono Bono PolyVera, 6 voice with flexible analog filters, drive and FM. I think it's got some kind of Mirage style anti-aliasing as well, which is kind of an interesting concept.
For the last 4 years.
It's going to be about £1,000 plus VAT. I guess that's 3,000 Swedish krona. PolyVera, there it is. I'll let you watch the whole video at your leisure. I saw you nodding there. But Aneek, I got the feeling, because I remember when you were at NAMM and when we went to Buchler and Friends, you kept coming up and going, I've seen the synth. And it was this kind of thing that seemed to really float your boat. Like there was that Icelandic thing, and there was a couple of other things that you said. And they were right. They were like this, I suppose. And I'm guessing this might be the sort of thing that you're interested in as well. What do you reckon?
Yeah, quite possibly. That Genki, I can't remember the name of the actual synth now, but the company Genki, that Icelandic thing, just, I messaged them like once a week, basically being like, hey, is it ready? But this thing looks really interesting. I didn't watch all of the demo, but it's certainly got a lot of stuff in it, and I kind of like things that immediately sound alive, so that you don't have to run it through 6 pedals. Although I probably still will do that. But yeah, it looks really, really interesting and quite fully fledged. And I think anything that's a big, monstrous polysynth, I just find immediately interesting.
Yeah, it looks like this says it's got different alias models which mimic the digital crest of older gear, which is the Ensoniq Mirage. I still think that somebody should do re-release the Ensoniq Mirage engine, the Curtis filters, but just make it easier to use. I have very fond memories of that, but I mean, this is in no way that it's got, it's got oscillators and stuff. It's a completely different thing. I know, Tim, I know we were talking previous to the show that hardware synths, it's like, you're not really in that world. So I don't know whether or not this is going to fully appeal to you, but I guess you could still hanker after them.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, I do hanker, and I did actually. This did pop up again in my YouTube recommendations, it's very impressive. I'm always really interested in how these things are positioned, like how people structure what they're saying about them, and then in the comments what people are responding to in the comments. And I remember something like the top comment was just really praising them leaning into in a world where you've got digital boxes trying to be analog. Here's an analog box trying to be digital, right. And unapologetically so. It's not even analog trying to be analog. It's analog trying to be digital. I'm just like, because I've got this whole like shtick at the moment. I'm talking to a lot of people about that. We're in the era of vintage digital, where like early digital things, like even not just like vintage digital samplers, like the old emus and the Akais, but like actually vintage digital software. So it's really interesting to see that the digital is now almost becoming sort of fetishized and nostalgicized. And it's a super slick product. They clearly have a really strong vision. They really know what they're doing, and they really know how to talk about it as well. So I was definitely got my attention.
It's interesting. It's another one of those synthesizers that appears on the face of it to be one of those kind of auteur type things where it's just one person been doing it for 4 years and just making it. And you are going to get some unusual quirks. There's not going to be any focus group nonsense. There's not going to be smoothing off any of the, no, that's a silly idea, or it'll be too expensive. It's no, I'm doing it. And then it's figured out. And that's really sort of, I think that alone is something to be celebrated in many ways. I don't know, Matt, we all got a bit of a smile on our faces because it's just like bloke in bedroom makes it. I mean, they do make other things as well, but this is an ambitious project.
It is, and it actually says on his website, to be fair, it says like, the first batch has been made, but it still requires some manual soldering. So I presume that's when you bought them and they arrive, you've still got to kind of solder some bits together. I don't know. I might have read that wrong. And it also, he's really open. He's like, the firmware is pretty stable. There's some bugs and it, periodically things happen. And he's very open about that. And I think I love that. I love that. It's just very open and honest about what this is. And he's been working on this a long time. And I'm sure, this finally coming to fruition and being available to buy is a really big thing. And at some point, being a one-man band, putting stuff out there, you have to draw a line in the sand and say, I need to get this out now. I've spent 4 years of R&D on it, and I'm running out of cash, and I've spent so many hours. I need to shift some units. So that has to happen at some point, whether it's, 100% there or not. So hats off to them. And I think you've said all the things about, kind of how this separates itself from what else is out there on the market. And that it is kind of, he's trying to work that backwards ways, like Tim said, like the analog trying to be digital in a way, and the way that it uses the artifacts within the oscillators to create, really interesting starting points and sounds and things like that. And you can drive the filter as well, and you've got distortion stages within it, which I think are the really important parts of synthesizers. Is that kind of one of the important parts is the gain structure as it goes through, from your oscillator into your filter to the VCA, and being able to gain stage those individual points. I think is a really important part of the sound that you can get, particularly in a computer, and it stops things sounding really kind of clinical and
that's very true.
less vibey, I guess. So there's a lot of thoughts that's gone into this for sure. and it sounds really good. So I hope it does well. If no one's familiar with the company, how's it pronounced? Suono Bono?
Suono Bono, I think.
Suono Bono. But they also do a couple of really interesting products there. There's this MIDI sidechain unit that they have, and it kind of just sits there and it just provides some cool sidechaining. And they've got this thing called Laser, which is this gestural CV and MIDI controller as well. It just sits on your desktop.
I think I've seen that. Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. It's really interesting products. Really cool.
Good for them. There seems to be a kind of a whole market area which is 6 for, it's the Redshift. There's 6 voices seems to be a thing. I wonder if it's just sort of technically easier to do, or it means that you can keep the component cost down. Once you do to 8, then something happens that means you need to add something that's quite expensive. I don't know. We'll as we ponder that, we'll just have a word from our sponsor. We'll be back after this message.
Introducing iZotope Cascadia. Intelligent delay without distraction. Add depth and rhythm with Cascadia's spacious musical tape delay, all while carving out space with adaptive unmasking, effortlessly blending echoes, slapbacks and textures into your tracks. Intelligent delay without distraction. Head to iZotope.com today and download a free trial and learn more.
Once again, we thank iZotope for their continued sponsorship. Much appreciated. Now back to the show. Yeah, so as previously mentioned, one of the reasons Tim's on it's like a book tour, isn't it, Tim? You have to do you're doing your promo and stuff. You're always welcome to come on, whether you've got something to plug or not. But you happen to have something to plug. I'm going to see if I can press all the right buttons this time. This time I've got to go back because we've got so many topics. It's actually more complicated than I thought. So I'm going to press. Let's see if I press this button and this one. I think it's going to work. Wish me luck.
Pattern Shift is a generative performance instrument for Ableton Push. Launch, switch, and blend generative patterns.
Lovely. I won't play the whole video. The whole video is there for everyone. But what's really the first thing that struck me about this is what you've managed to be able to do with the graphics on the push display. It's just like, wow, that's so cool. I mean, it sort of makes me feel like, well, all of that real estate has gone to waste up this far, and you've now, as well as the stuff that it does. So, I mean, tell us a little bit about Pattern Shift.
Well, I mean, you queued up the. I have to big up Nicholas Burgius. I think he's watching now. So Nicholas became a patron of mine when I launched my Patreon. It's like just over three or 4 months ago now, with Scapeshift. And one of the things I was talking about then is like I want to make this this hardware version of it. And at the time it was just like, okay, let's just do a simple mapping. And then it just got deeper and deeper. And the one thing I really wanted to do was build a GUI inside Reactor and display that on the push screen. And I actually tried to do this myself with AI. I downloaded VS Code and Copilot, and I would say, AI, make me an app to do this. And absolutely abject failure. So anyway, Nicholas stepped in, and over the last couple of months, basically, has been working on building this app. Which it's super simple. It just captures a 960 by 160 pixel area of a screen. It could be anything. It could be Max MSP. It could be a plugin, or it could be anything else. Just captures that, displays it on the push, and that allowed me to build this this GUI, which I built all in Reactor. Kind of went in deep, building all those colorful waveforms and the sort of real time piano roll. But yeah, it does. Using hardware with good graphics really makes a difference. Like when I made the flow machine, so I had this instrument way back when, this live sampling instrument called the Flow Machine that was basically a bunch of Behringer controllers, and it had MIDI feedback. It was just LEDs, so you kept track of things by looking at LEDs, but the extra level of involvement and connection you get through being able to really see things on a little screen with hardware encoders and buttons either side of it. I mean, I really think Ableton Push it's a hardware platform. Like Serum is a platform that people have built careers on. I think developers could build careers on building stuff for Ableton Push. So
interesting.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I'm sure that's what Ableton would like. There's for sure. But yeah, I mean, what's interesting is the fact that you could use use Reactor to push that stuff in. So there's a software component that runs in your computer, and then the push is the UI for that, and it's a generative music creation platform in a similar fashion to Scapeshift, right?
Yeah, so it's the same generative engine as Scapeshift, but all the way the data is arranged around it is, it's inspired by Autechre, and they have this generative system. They seem, I mean, I don't know, I was in touch with Sean ages ago, but we haven't spoken for ages, but roughly they have this generative system. They seem to prepare patterns, and then when they perform live, they can then combine and manipulate and bend these patterns. And I wanted to build that, but in this fairly portable form factor that was very hardware and tactile.
I guess so. It requires. There's no. I suppose the question would be: is there any chance you could hack Push 3 to make it run in standalone? Because it's dealing with MIDI data, I suppose. I mean, I've got to ask. I'm sure.
I don't. Yeah, you're not the first person to ask. So another thing to say is Push 3 MIDI controller support is coming very soon. We were up late last night trying to finish that because I don't have a Push 3, so I had to launch it and then find. So another shout out to Steve Elbows, who I think is also watching. Who? Oh yeah, it's a regular. Yes. So he's an absolute legend. We were up into the small hours, and I was sending him versions of the Reactor Ensemble to try and get it mapped onto Push 3. But yeah, standalone is a different story. I think I will have to depart the Reactor universe to make that possible, and that is basically learning C++ and building a whole app again. So it's going to take a while.
Right. Oh, maybe that's something you can ask a ChatGPT and VS Studio, Virtual Studio Code. I've been using that a lot this week. For those who don't know, Sonic is now running in Germany rather than in an AWS center in the middle of Virginia. So I'd just like to shout out to Hetzner for the hosting and VS Code for helping me make that happen. So guys, I wonder, do you, Aneek, a lot of what you're doing is in the box. Do you have a go-to controller? Is Push something that you would use for making control? I mean, because this sort of UI ability and also what you think about PatternScape as well. I mean, it's really interesting to see these things hacked in a way that perhaps they weren't originally designed to. Is that something you use?
Yeah. I mean, I've literally just got PatternShift now because Tim sent me an early copy. So thank you very much for that. And my Reactor is telling me I've got a processor overload, so I might need him to give us a little hand getting that working. But when I first got a Push, it changed my life. Like literally, I made some of the best music I've ever made since when I got it. I don't use it a lot for sort of drum stuff because I found it a little bit fiddly, but for the sort of scale key mapping stuff, that was fantastic. And I've always sort of thought it does gather a bit of dust every now and then because it's quite limited on what's been done with it and what Ableton will, I guess, allow you to do with it up until recently, to my surprise. And obviously, Tim being the genius that he is, he's found a way to do something quite seemingly magical with it. And I'm really excited to have a go on that. So yeah, thank you very much, Tim.
Excellent. Sorry, I'll just go to Matt. What about you in terms of controls? I mean, I know because you use. I'm just trying to think what you use live. I mean, you've got like a beat step, don't you? Is that a beat step that you use?
I do. Yeah, I use beat step. Just because you've got loads of CV and gate and MIDI on that, and I've just learned it really, really easy, and it's it fits in your backpack dead easy, and it's a lot lighter than a Push as well. But I use that. That works really, really well. The But yeah, anyway, congratulations to him on this one. Absolutely, looks great, man. And as I understand it, I don't know if anybody's explained this yet, but as I understand it, Tim, so essentially within this, you've got multiple patterns that allows you to kind of morph between them, find sweet spots, and then run with that. And you can load up other patterns and morph into that one. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yes, I got totally into nerding out without actually explaining what it does. Classic me. But yeah, so essentially, what's really different about both scape shift and pattern shift. Scape shift is more for composition. Pattern shift is for performance. But it's a fully parametric engine, so all the sequencing and pattern generation is controlled by continuous controls. So instead of saying, okay, I want a drum beat on this note, this note, and this note in a step sequencer, or laying things out in a piano roll, everything is like, okay, you've got various different pattern generators. Think about it like a really complex arpeggiator, but everything is a continuous control, which means that you can continuously morph any pattern. So you could dial up like a dub techno pattern, and then you could dial up a drum and bass pattern, and you could dial up an ambient pattern, and you could just continuously morph between all those patterns. So every single parameter, including like the levels, the sends, the returns, the effects parameters, all the things that control the pattern generation, all of that's continuous, and you can continue to morph everything. So I've got a few more videos kind of queued up, ready to go about that. One of them is just literally 1 hour of it just automating itself, playing back kind of crazy abstract IDM. Yeah, to be honest, I'm still in this like I'm super nerdy about it, and I don't even know how to like communicate it clearly. And like, there's a bunch of people in the comments of the launch video saying, like, explain this, please. So that's something I actually need to learn how to talk about it. So this is what starts now.
Right.
So,
well, hopefully we can help you with that. But excellent.
I mean, for pattern generators, for me, it's quite reasonable to get a pattern generator and apply it to drums straight away, and you've got loads of drum beats and stuff from percussion. For me, I tend to use pattern generators quite a lot for triggering envelopes. So particularly like Euclidean patterns. So instead of using them on drums, I use that to open and close, to hit envelopes that open and close filters and VCAs to create like rhythms within my music. Most of my music is just one note. And it's this pattern generation of the envelopes opening and closing that makes the kind of more musical instrument interesting stuff. It does all the work for me, really. So I'd be interested to try that out, because you have got synths in here as well. I think there's a couple of mono synths, a polysynth, and drums within this. Is that right? And can you get the MIDI out of it that it's actually generating? I think Nick might have asked that.
Yes, you can. You can get the MIDI out of it. So all the engines it's all synthesis. The drums as well. So it's kind of like digital DSP drum synthesis. And you can switch all the pattern generators into MIDI mode. So you can send it out to plugins if you use it. Something like Visual or Element, or you can send it out to external instruments as well. So you can do that. There's a lot of people having a lot of fun doing that.
Wicked.
Excellent.
Man. Well done.
Excellent.
Can't wait to try it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for that, Tim. You can get it via, actually, if I go to Tim's and I put his third on, patreon.com/Tim Exile, I believe, in the Patreon store, which is a really, for those who don't use Patreon, I mean, obviously we do our Patreon, but they've introduced a really good way for people, independent creators, to actually sell digital products via the store, and it makes it very easy. So it's good. It encourages independence. Okay, I probably, let's have a look now. I just don't know where to go. I feel like I need to go some more hardware, just because I really like the look of this, and we're hopefully going to get one in for review. So, I'd certainly do a video on it. Let's have a look. So if I can find the right button to press, I think this is going to work. Stand by, everybody. Yep, Ericasynths Echolocator. This is a new collab, Ericasynths and the kind of rising superstars of DSP coding, 112 dB. Nightverb won our best effects, I think, from Superbooth. Matt reviewed Nightverb for us. I think I reviewed the Ninja Tunes dub delay thing, which was kind of the first of this series. and now we've got the echolocator using the night verb sort of form factor, I suppose. And the magic, I think this is just, by the sound of it, this is literally just a metronome out of Ableton that they've made this music out of. So it's pretty impressive. It's quite expensive. These things do the hardware's really nice. I think it works out about €490. 12 parameters detail for sound design. Freeze function, always a fan of those. 30 factory presets and 70 user slots. I'm loving this. I mean, I think, Matt, we're going to try and get you a copy of it, get you to look at this, do maybe a patch from scratch or something on it. Is that right?
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Yeah, I did a Night Verb review and absolutely loved that one. That was a collaboration, as is this, as you said, with the 112 dB, and it sounded brilliant. The fact that you could play notes with the reverb, it was like really, really mad. So I think it's the same form factor. It's got the same kind of I/O, your foot switch for freezing and things. You've got your MIDI. Yeah. You can chuck patches over USB, I think, with it. You've got the same kind of control, and the screen was really clear. Not too much menu diving as well. I'm big into my delays, and one of my favourite ones, the Strymon El Capistan foot pedal, just because it's a bit warbly and it's a bit wonky and it's just vibey. I absolutely love it. And this one, you've got jitter involved in there. I think it's called Orbit or something on this particular one. Right. You've got your filtering within it as well, so you can shave off the top or low end depending on what you want. And I think there's even resonance you can add. There's kind of shimmer that's added in there as well. So I guess it does that kind of feedback ability with the pitch shifting on it. So it actually also has reverb. It's got a dial on there for reverb as well as delay itself.
I was wondering whether or not it's, because it's the hardware box, can you flash it with the Night Verb ROM, for instance, and reuse the box? I mean, I don't know. I haven't checked to see whether all the knobs fit. But these sort of performative effects, they're really, I really love it. I know, Aneek, are you kind of a fan of the hands-on approach? I mean, that Ericasynths are doing this sort of clever stuff where they're sort of reincarnating algorithms and like that reactor thing for Steam Pipe as well in hardware, and just making it feel very usable and performative. I mean, this sounds like the Ninja's thing sounded very analog, but I guess it wasn't. Or maybe it was.
I mean, I worked on the Ninja pedal a little bit. Like, I did some prototyping because I was working for Ninja and Matt Black at the time when they did the collab. And I was a huge fan of Ericasynths because I've got the Perkins, the drum machine, but I've also got one of their modules for the Eurorack, the Black Hole DSP version 2. And there's a mode on that called the Hellraiser delay, which is just, I never have to buy another delay again, really, although I probably still have 14 of the fuckers. And it's just the best delay algorithm ever, in my opinion. And they wouldn't put it on the Ninja Tune one. I was like, God damn, because it's sitting on my desk right now. And I'm looking at it going, God, I wish you had the Hellraiser delay. But they probably, it's probably a clever reason behind them doing it. And this new one looks fantastic. I love some of the sort of visual design of it, but it doesn't have the Hellraiser mode, so I'm not going to get it.
Well, that's fair enough. I suppose that's fair enough. Okay, fair dues. Tim, I mean, I guess you started out with sort of hands-on building controllers for a lot of these kind of effects in a way. So I mean, I guess this is probably right up your street. Assuming you could fit it in your sort of your minimal traveling setup. I mean, that would be, you'd have to break a few rules of your one piece of hardware, wouldn't you, I suppose?
I mean, I think I'd probably, I built a reverb and a dub delay that are in the sort of pattern shift, scape shift world. And it's interesting seeing that they've got a reverb in there as well. Cause I think the real magic is in the sort of pairing of reverbs and delays. And interesting tricks like with, Native Instruments Replica, where you can go between delays and diffusion. So basically, you've got a continuous knob between something that is a delay, where you can just hear the repeat sort of all the way through to complete diffusion and complete reverb. And that's a bit that interests me here is, you've got that reverb knob and then all these shimmer things. I mean, it's funny because when you really dig into the DSP of how these algorithms work, you actually realize that there's it's quite mercurial, like how you come up with these different algorithms, and there are very clever things you can do with how the delays interpolate and whether you granulate things, and particularly like the delay times and the diffusion amounts of all these. There's like network of diffuser delays. Anyway, sorry, I'm nerding out again. Classic me. But
we're here for, man.
No, well, true. Yeah, true.
No, well, actually, I mean, I think I just think that they've really seemed to be getting it right. I mean, I guess Ericasynths and the amount of stuff they put out. I mean, I don't know how Gertz manages to sort of spread himself. He's obviously a good manager because he's obviously got people doing some stuff, because he can't be doing all of it, and he also restores vintage Czechoslovakian motorcycles as well. So I think when I saw him at Superbooth, he said, "Yeah, we came over early. We all rode over on these old bikes because we had to go and pick up some exhaust parts from former East Germany because it's the only place that had them." It was some story a bit like that. Anyway, it was fantastic stuff. Okay, I think maybe we'll probably time just for another message from our sponsors, and then we might do an and finally, because I think there's quite a good topic for that one as well. So back in a sec.
I know right away when it's good for me because it makes me write something.
Complete 15, a do-it-all production bundle for endless sonic inspiration.
I did not know it could do that.
You have your low sounds, you have your mid sounds, you have your high sounds.
Create any sound imaginable.
All together, sounds nice and big.
Whatever sound your music needs, make it with Complete 15.
That's a nice little ad break there.
Sure. Yeah, I had to edit it out of a much larger thing. I think I did quite a good job there because I didn't have.
Yeah, and do you know what? There's a couple of things in there. That last chap, Lido, he's got a track that he produced for Banks. That is one of my favourite tracks of all time. I think it's called Better. It's Better by Banks. Absolutely fantastic producer. And Tim, actually, I was going to ask you, does that include all the stuff you made, like the finger and the mouth and stuff like that?
Yeah, it does. I think the complete, there's like an extra, the super bundle that comes with the finger in the mouth. The finger is in all of them. I have my finger in all of the completes.
That's amazing.
You're missing a couple.
What a legacy.
I mean, but I don't think you can use those if obviously, finger, mouth. Let's not go there. We won't go there.
Oh, great.
But maybe that's something coming up in the future. Anyway, well, thank you for extending the ad for us there, Aneek. And their stuff does sound really good. I mean, it's sort of very much production ready. A lot of the Native Instruments sounds. Anyway, so yes, I was going to go for. I'm going for best puppets in music production, guys. I just felt I had to, really. I know it's perhaps a little bit lowbrow, but any excuse to play this track, which we'll probably get busted for.
Oh, yeah.
But this is an article from MIDI Era, and there's quite a lot of puppets in there. But I remember watching this, and I didn't realise, because this is Levi ads as well. I think this wasn't it? Which has nothing. There's no genes in it or anything, but it is such a brilliant piece of art. And the guy, Quentin Dupieux, he is literally
Mr. Wazzo,
made the music. Mr. Wazzo, yeah, he made the music, shot the video, did the whole lot, and it's just like, again, it's that sort of auteur approach to stuff, which gives it such a purity of vision. But other puppets, I think that's
amazing. I had no idea he did all of it.
The best, yeah.
That's so cool.
He shot the video for Levi as well. Yeah, exactly. He must be a genius.
That's incredible. Jesus, that's like, I'm sure we bought a couple of nice houses with that. Wow.
I hope so. Yeah, but that gets my vote for the best puppet in electronic music. I'm just wondering if there were some other ones in there, and I guess I didn't write any of them down, so I suppose. Oh, any puppet.
I didn't realise it was electronic music when I sent my emo ones over.
It doesn't have to be. No, it can't be. It doesn't have to be electronic music. You're right. It could be anything you like. Have you got any other puppets you'd like to sort of did you send me something about that? Maybe I should
I think I sent there's a music video for Weezer that has a bunch of puppets in, and for anyone, I don't expect anyone to know or remember this, but there was a band called Saves the Day, and they had an amazing hit song, which was, the video was incredible. It's like the singer standing in a room, the camera is like spinning around him, and the background is constantly changing through the life cycle of a couple getting together, a child being born, child growing older, having a kid, and it was all about this house, basically. It was a fantastic video and great song. And then they did a follow-up one where, when everyone loves that first single or whatever, their sort of big single, and then the second one is just nothing nothing at all like it, and it's got loads of Muppets in it. And I remember being like 17 or 16 watching it, with a bunch of my mates watching Kerrang TV or whatever, being like, what the what is this? But yeah, so I think I threw that one in there.
No, fair enough. I think actually there's another one. Isn't there a guy who does music production tips and tricks as a puppet? I've forgotten what he's called.
Reed Stefan.
It's a really big channel.
He's great. Yeah, Reed Stefan. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm hoping that's given you enough time to think, oh my God, I didn't do any research. Maybe I can come up with something, Matt.
No.
I got nothing. Got no puppets.
No puppets on this one. I mean, I remember some of the stuff with Aphex Twin. One of them was quite mad.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was in there. That was in there.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And one of my favourite live bands to ever see is Flaming Lips, and they used to have members of the audience just get them on stage, dress them up in weird outfits, and they were just dancing, and because they're just drunk people from the audience, not real dancers, it made it even more psychedelic and just weird. I don't think they do it anymore. I think someone might have fallen off the stage, and health and safety and all that. But
fair enough.
No, that's it as far as puppet goes. The Supergrass one's pretty cool. I think that is Jim Henson, isn't it? Who did the one with Supergrass?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Well, all the Muppet stuff. I mean, there's some classics, aren't there? There's the which came up recently. I've been seeing Prince on the Muppets. There's been that Manamana, all of that stuff. I mean, there are some crackers, aren't there? I'm just looking to see if there's any. Scissor Sisters, says Nick Howes, used to have superb sets with live puppets. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. There's Lily Allen Alfie on this one. I think, what else have I got? I think I might be able to do that. So if I press the screen, we could just quickly look through it. So there's Dr. Ozo, there's Interpol. Evil.
That one's weird.
Quite
that
disturbing.
One freaks me out, the Interpol one.
Alice Cooper, School's Out. Yeah, that's got to be a classic. Video Enable. Okay, but that's gone. Who's this one? Supergrass. I think that was another one.
I'm surprised there isn't like a
Twin
Björk one or something in there. I'm surprised Björk hasn't got like.
She did Robots.
She did All Is Full of Love, but that's not really puppets. That's like the kind of iRobot style thing, I mean, Chris Cunningham's amazing director, so maybe he just didn't want to do something with puppets again after doing the Aphex Twin one. He sort of reserved that for Richard D. I imagine Chris did that video for Aphex Twin. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know actually. There was a Genesis one as well, apparently, but as a spitting image, them as spitting image puppets.
There is. I mean, it's not quite puppet, but it's almost puppet. The new Mark Pritchard and Tom York album that's out. Some of the tracks are out already, and I'm not sure if the album's actually out already. But some of the one of the videos from that is basically these kind of puppet-like characters, really bright colors. I mean, it looks stunning. It's got that. It's got that real kind of surreal Tom York edge. I don't know who produced the video, but that came to mind fairly immediately because, again, it's all over my feeds, and it's my type of music. Love Tom York and love Mark Pritchard. So yeah, hunt it down. I don't know if I'll have to hunt down the video and maybe I'll post about it somewhere.
Yeah, no, cool. I suppose I guess animation. We could. There's obviously rich history of that. Gorillaz probably being the most famous one, and they did do figurines because a friend of mine is a real big fan of Gorillaz, and he's bought. You can buy these really kind of high quality replicas of all the people in that. They're very expensive, but he's got them on his shelf. He's got puppets and then there's was it the Archies? There was some way back, wasn't there, in the 60s in America?
Archies, yeah.
The Archies.
And then
anyway, that topic did fall flat, but it gave me an excuse to play Flat Beats, which is, I think, a genius piece of work.
Do you know what? Speaking of puppets, I always wished Ben DivKid would do a puppet version of his sort of head logo thing that he's got with some beady
like a wobbly, like one of those,
like a wobbly or a stuffed toy or something like that. I think it'd be really fun. I'd probably get one.
That's a good shout. Yeah, no, that's a really good shout. That would be a way to make your kids interested in what you do. Still small.
Lure them in with a stuffed toy, just like an insurance company.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's great. So,
perfect.
Did you want to mention Synth Pedal Expo? Because I'd be well up for going down there on a Sunday if you guys are around.
Yeah, we'll be there. Matt's coming down. Matt is debuting as one of the team to be shooting there. We're getting him up to speed before we go to Super Booth, where he'll be doing stuff there as well. So we're going to be there Friday night for Heinbach, and then Saturday. If you just search out London Synth and Pedal Expo, it's free to get in, but you need to book a ticket because it's quite a small venue, and they sort of have these time slots. But it's in a lovely part of town, and it's just get along. I think you get off at Hackney Wick, and it's a short walk across.
Yeah, it's not far.
It's near the Olympic Park. We'll be staying close by, and like I say, we're going to go see Heinbach then on the Friday night, if everything goes to plan. And then, be there some of Sunday. I might pop into town because also the new Schneidersladen shop in Denmark Street is opening at the weekend. It was open all weekend, and they're going to be open on Sunday for the first time. So I might be able to nip away and do a little bit of a store tour with Ed. I've forgotten what it's called now. It's ridiculous for me. It's Analog Solutions, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, everyone's going to call it London Modular 2, though.
Are they? I don't know. Well, Ed, because Ed was involved in that as well, I suppose. But I'm sure he's doing his best not to happen. But yeah, so it's going to be a very synthy weekend. So excellent stuff. Really up for that. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably sign off. I managed to get a lot more topics than I thought we were going to get in there, and I'll leave it there, and we'll just sort of. We'll take a breath and we'll save some for next week. Goodness knows we're heading towards summer when there's no news, so we need that. It's just all you end up with is this point releases of software for a period of time. So we'll keep some of those perennials back for maybe an episode or two. But thank you so much for joining, Matt. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, I'm going to see you in a couple of days. Looking forward to that. So
looking forward to that.
So yeah.
Anyone else who's going to the Synth and Pedal Expo, give us a shout. Be good to meet some people. Yeah, I'll be running around with a camera. Going to be carry on working on videos for these things as well, and the Elmira 2 and the Scrooge and a load of other videos. Keep your eyes peeled. There's a video coming shortly that I've just done on Sonicstate for the Heinbach and Dranalog Collide 4 Eurorack module. So I made a track completely just from that one module, which is a really interesting module. So keep your eye out for that one. And looking forward to Heinbach's gig on Friday night. So hopefully I'll see you guys around.
Absolutely.
Wicked. Nice
and
one.
I guess, Tim, you've got to now extract your head from programming mode and go into communications mode, which I imagine is quite a, I know how it is. I've been much the same this week. I've been basically, my head has been in coding coding Sonic into another completely different platform, which is all been done, so I know how it feels to go in and out of that. You have everything in your head at the same time, and then you've got to come out and go, oh yes, now I explain the wider picture. So that's for you, right? That's your next few days.
That's my next few days. I am tempted, I am very near Synth Expo. And
come down. Come on Sunday.
Come on, Tim.
Yes.
Come on.
I would. Oh, I would love to. Kids.
Family duties, I understand.
Family duties.
I think we can bully him into it. Come on.
Bully me, please.
You work on it.
Bully me into going to Synth Expo. I would love to be bullied that way.
Okay. Anyway, well, thanks for joining us very much, Tim. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Welcome anytime. And nice to see you, Aneek, as well. I guess you're going back to your Atmos world. Right.
Yeah, I'm going to stick my head up the arse of Dolby Atmos. Let's do that for a little bit longer today. Wicked.
Excellent. Well, maybe see you at the weekend as well. Nice to see you.
Looking forward to it.
Back to the full shot, and we can wave goodbye as I hit the end button, and maybe this button will work. It's been pretty good this week. Bye.